So, welcome all of you once again to the Arts for Life series and on the episode 12, which is on the art of always moving forward. And you'll be wondering why I said always, because in Hindi we say nirantar. And as far as our spiritual teachings in Brahma Kumaris go, the Supreme Teacher always tells us that he loves this word always, that my dear children, keep moving forward in life. Don't just stop. So, after having covered the art of revealing and concealing and knowing from our previous speakers, the senior Raj Yogis, what to reveal and what to conceal, so we have today with us, it's a pleasure to invite our dear brother Eric Reste, all the way from Montreal. Very snowy and sunny as well, Montreal. So, thank you, brother Eric, for joining. And just for your knowledge, I am joining from the sunny Trinidad because you'd be wondering how come there are sun rays seen on my face. So I'm here in the Caribbean, which is the warm part of the world here. And I think all of us know Brother Eric very well. But let me just also, I discovered a few new things. He's a multilinguist person. So he's a French national. He himself is a translator for French and English, but also he speaks very good Spanish and a few words in Hindi. And as we speak, he's right now retired at the moment. And all of you know he was a journalist and producer working with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation called the CBC and the Radio Canada for more than almost 35, 40 years. He also became a TV news reporter for the CBC local news and then for the national news and current affairs. And he then moved back to Montreal in 1995 where also he was continuing his Lokic journalism and production for CBC Radio Canada. And spiritually, he has been with the Brahma Kumaris since 1983, which is almost 40, 45 years now. And he is instrumental for opening the meditation centers in Edmonton and Calgary before returning to Montreal, where he's instrumental for the center there, and it's called La Emergence. Hope I'm pronouncing it properly. He's also been instrumental in various international projects of the BKs, one of them being Images and Voices of Hope. And currently, he is the national coordinator for the entire country of Canada. So, with this, I welcome Brother Eric. Thank you. And I also invite Sister Claudia to please welcome him with flowers. Over to you, Sister Claudia. Thanks.
Om Shanti, good morning from spring like Vancouver, and good afternoon for some of you, and good evening for some of you as well. So, Brother Eric, it's an honor to have you today talking to us, and I'd like to offer you some flowers, some who represent our love for you. We really love you so much in our heart. And I know that you are the one who likes to see everybody moving forward. I think this was the best art that you can teach us how to become a very good into that. So without talking much, let's hear what you are going to say and learn from you how to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Claudia. And I just forgot, actually, it's a beautiful new year we have begun. So, and none other than our esteemed speaker who will tell us how to really move forward in this year without having to look back upon what has happened, good as well, and bad, obviously not. Over to you, Brother Eric. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Lovely to be with you all. It's been a while. Thank you to the translators. I'll try to speak slowly, which is against my nature. I tend to move forward fast and speak fast, but I'll try to speak slow. I know you've already asked us, Manoj, to take a minute to invoke the presence of the Supreme. I just want to confirm, has he arrived, or should we meditate more, or is he here? Because I'll be a little bit intimidated if the Supreme is listening. I'm shy now. It's like if I have to give a talk and I see any of our seniors coming in the room, all the DDs, I get a little bit, oh, what am I going to say now? the DDs are listening. So if you tell me the Supreme is now with us, wow, I don't know if I can say anything. I should let him talk. Maybe we should have another minute to invoke him to speak through me so I don't say anything and he can speak. I don't know if he can do that. Anyway, lovely to be with all of you. And even though I don't see most of you, but maybe it's always good for the first minute to really appreciate being together. And the image I'd like to use today is the one that Sister Claudia already showed us, which is a bouquet of flowers. And one of the beautiful things I think that I've learned in Brahma Kumaris, in meditation or Raj Yoga, is to see everyone as a living flower. Isn't it sweet and poetic and romantic that everyone you see is a flower, a unique living flower? And one flower individually is beautiful, but the art that we're talking about in this series, I think, is all about combining the flowers together and see if you end up with a nice bouquet, or if you can't find a way to put them together in the same vase or the same vase, yeah. So let's take a minute to really appreciate being with one another. Even though we don't see everyone's face, you can imagine all of us in different countries. And imagine all of us being beautiful beings of light in this beautiful world. And what makes us into a bouquet is the fact that we're all being held in the same spirit, in the same awareness, where the flowers come from, the seeds or the original state of the self, of the being. It's a beautiful state of mind to be in this early part of the year. So my good wishes to each and every one for keeping the hopes for the new year, and yes, to find ways to constantly move forward in our life. I was reflecting, and I really appreciate, usually when I'm invited to share, I'm always wondering, why should I share anything? I mean, most people may have more experiences and some have so many years also. So I take it as an invitation to talk to myself as well and to look at this topic, constantly moving forward. And I really took time yesterday and this morning to think about my own way of moving forward. The speed, the direction, the quality, the style. And it's such a rich topic, really. The metaphor of this idea of moving forward is a very rich one. So I invite you all, not just to listen, but to really question yourself right now and maybe look back a little bit in the past and say, how have I been moving forward in the last year, maybe the last few years? How am I moving forward? And in what way? So I would say in general, everyone is moving forward anyway, isn't it? I mean, the body is going closer to his destination, its destination anyway, isn't it? Body doesn't get younger, I can guarantee you that. It doesn't, unfortunately. So the body has its own destiny. The inner being also is moving forward anyway. It can't go anywhere backwards in general. But it's only when we take specifics that we can then say, maybe I'm moving forward or not in that particular aspect. In general, we're all moving forward. In general, I would say we're either moving forward nicely or we're moving forward with a lot of difficulties that we can see a little bit. But in the specifics, let's say I'm learning Hindi, which I've tried for the last 40 years and I'm still barely mastering 10 words. And even Brother Manoj will correct me on some of these words, so I'm not that good. But if you were to learn a language, then of course, in that specific aspect, you can define the way you move forward in a much more precise way. Are you learning a lot? Are you not? Are you moving forward, backward, sideways? If you don't practice, yeah, moving backward, isn't it? Or you're stagnating and then moving backward. If you fall in love with your teacher, well, maybe you're going sideways because this is not the point of taking classes. Is so you're distracted by something. So for every specific thing, the way to analyze how we move forward becomes extremely interesting. So if we look at our spiritual journey, which is the one we want to think more about, it becomes very interesting to have a proper analysis. And who can really evaluate its own speed, its own style, its own quality of moving forward? You know, you may think you're moving forward fast, but someone watching you may say, actually, you're going quite slow, you know. I know we don't compare ourselves too much, but if we do sometimes look at others as a way to be inspired, as a way to learn better from seniors, then you might realize you're not moving as fast as you think you are. We're told very often time is also critical at the moment. And time is asking us to move maybe a little bit faster than we think we are, so we can create a better energy in the world. So just this is the kind of general introduction of how rich I found this particular topic is, which, thank to you, if I was not asked to share this morning, maybe I would not take the time to evaluate properly how I'm moving forward. So I really invite you to take this opportunity to try to be very, very clear about, okay, how am I moving forward? In general, I would say when I was thinking about this topic that you know, all the qualities that we've been talking about in these series for the last many years, every quality, talent, art, speciality, skill, spiritual power, elements of understanding, all these, which we call the treasures, the spiritual treasures in our spiritual life, virtues, powers, understanding, everything contributes to our ability to move forward. And of course, the more we possess and master those qualities, values, the easiest it is to move forward, isn't it? Now, of course, okay, then you have, I don't know, 100 virtues, 100 powers, 1,000,000 points of wisdom. So which one are we using to allow us to move forward nicely, easily, fast, and not sideways or backward? And that's where I find for myself that I need to look at my own personal, very unique DNA and appreciate what makes me move forward. You know, I think what will make an elephant move forward will be different than what makes an ant move forward, isn't it? They don't chase after the same thing, isn't it? Depending on who you are, what makes you go ahead will be different. You know, if I have interest in a certain sport or in a certain type of culture, I will be looking for certain events, certain people in the world, and they will inspire me to move forward. Today, I'm very happy to be asked to be the one speaking because it is 17th of January today. And tomorrow, we're celebrating almost like the 90th anniversary of this institution. And by celebrating the year also when Brahma Baba, the founder of the organization, left the body in 1969, it's quite a wonder to think, of him, this being, we call him Brahma Baba, a very, very, friendly and warm term. But to me, if I look at him as a model, as an example, that's what we do every 18th of January. We'll look at him and say, okay, we have to analyze every part of his life and think, how can I use aspects of his life as an inspiration for me to move forward? So, of course, there are so many, I won't go into it today because tomorrow the whole day is going to be about that. But for me, when I try to think, what makes me move forward? What really motivates me, or what inspires me? Of course, Brahma Baba's life is there. I didn't meet Brahma Baba himself, but I met Dadi Prakashmani, who at the time when I came in 1983, she was the head of the organization. And when I met her, she came to Montreal. I was lucky that I barely finished the course. And here you are with this amazing being walking in a room in Montreal when we're just a few really hopeless cases at the time, sitting on the floor, wondering what to do with our lives and how to change, like we say, from hippie to happy. So the hippie part was clear, the happy part was less clear. But when Dadiji walked in the room and I saw her, she didn't say a word. And I knew already at that time, that is what I want. I want that. That what she radiates, that's what I want to radiate. Her smile, I want that smile. The spiritual energy that came out of her was incredible. She didn't even say a word. She just looked at us in silence. And for me, I remember very clearly at that time having the feeling, yes, I never met someone like this. I never saw a spiritual face blooming like this. Honestly, never. And I knew at the time that I want to achieve something like they say all the time, tell me what you eat. I want to eat the same thing. I want to move ahead. And I told her one day, I said, Daddy, when I went to India to see her, I told her, Daddy, I want to stay with you, in every birth. So I should live with you now. So can I stay in India, in Madhuban? So if I stay with you and I can be next door, I told her I want to be next door, then throughout all our lives, I'll be next to you. And she said, yes, brother, it doesn't work that way. So no, I thought if I live next to you in this birth, I'll be next to you in every birth in the future. But no, it doesn't work that way. She said, what brings the soul close, it's our sanskaras, our personality traits. And she said, if you want to be close to me, it's going to be a question of making your sanskaras the same. Your personality traits, your habits, your tendencies, specialities. And I thought, oh, well, that's more difficult than staying and living next door. It's going to require a little bit more effort than just moving to India. And today I look at it 40 years later and I say, in my personal DNA, what has helped me to move forward? And I would say that there are three qualities that I would pick for myself. And again, I invite you all to think about it for yourself. and try to find what are the maybe 3, 4, 5, I don't know. For me, I found 3 qualities that are very essential. And I think they are the 3 qualities that really helped me to move forward no matter what. And of course, it's not that there hasn't been obstacles, and so many times I question my capacity to keep moving forward in my spiritual journey, right? Same if I think of my professional career, same. I've been very lucky. In my professional life, I've been moving forward, I think, quite nicely, but it was not easy. There was some times when I felt maybe I should retire at the age of 30. So I had to wait another 30 years. But in my spiritual life, there was time where obstacles were a little bit big, coming from within, from outside. And yes, thought came of, oh, how am I going to keep going? How is it possible? Maybe I'm a failure. Maybe I'm not going to make it. Maybe it's not in my role to continue on this path. And if I think of what really helped me to move forward, what are those 3 qualities? And I would say the first one has always been a quest or an effort, I would say, to be authentic. And I feel authenticity is such a powerful, I would say, posture of the self. It gives you a lot of strength, not vulnerabilities. Authenticity for me has always been trying to make sure, because in the beginning, I was not very authentic. I was trying to be someone else. And it took me many, many years to understand I would never be like Dadi Prakash Mani. I will never be like Brahma Baba, but I have to become my better me. And there's only one better me. And that's the only one I need to become, not anybody else. And to become me, I realized that what was needed was to be authentic. And every virtue, every quality or talent, as you call it, bring a whole bouquet of other qualities. They're combined together. They are connected together. And for me, authenticity is this capacity to be very honest with myself, to understand truth in my life, how I want it to be and how it should be, appreciate truth in others as well, not as they appear, but as they are. So authenticity brings many, many layers. To me, authenticity is very much connected with honesty. If you have authenticity, you will find that honesty, truth, humility, they come along. They're all friends. They have to come along. You cannot be, I think, ego will not allow us to be authentic by definition. So being authentic obliges us, forces us to be humble. So when I look back, and I didn't think of it so much until I had to really look at it this morning, thinking, what makes me move forward? And I realized authenticity for me has been probably a driving force, because authenticity makes me feel real. So it's easy to be accepting the situations in the world, accepting my own weaknesses, accepting everything. I'm authentic. I'm not pretending, right? The opposite of being authentic is you're pretending. You're artificial. Now we have artificial intelligence. So if I have an artificial soul, that is not being authentic. So I should not practice artificial consciousness. That's what we learn. It's to practice soul consciousness, real consciousness. Being authentic has brought me into a state where authenticity means that everything is the same, or I'm the same in all the different levels of my life, which means I can be myself at work and I'll be my same self at the spiritual center where I pretend to be an angel and a great, highly spiritual, evolved species. And I'll be the same when I play tennis. And I'll be the same when I meet my friends and relatives. I'll be the same when I'm in a grocery store and people around are not very nice and not very patient. I'll be the same on a traffic jam. That's authenticity. I'm not saying I am authentic 100%, but I'm saying that this feeling that I want to be authentic, it's not even that I have to be. It's a feeling I want to be. That I think has made me move forward tremendously. I talked to a young person yesterday in Australia, and I was asking him, "So what's your aim? What do you want?" And he went through a phase in his life where he lost money because he was gambling. He lost all his money. He was very extroverted. He's not part of the VK movement, but his mother is. And now, after losing all his money, he realized that he was really going the wrong way. And now he told me, "Oh, what I want is to be a good person. I want people to say, oh, this one, he's so nice, always taking time for listening." He said, "I want to have good feeling for people." And I was so touched, that a young person, 20 some years old, I was like that, mind you, when I came to the Brahma Kumaris, but to have that feeling that I want to be a good person, I think this is a powerful driving force that will bring him into his next step. If he doesn't have that desire, how would he make any effort? So for me, I find that authenticity has a beautiful bouquet of complementary qualities that come along. They're maturing, they're growing. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. But I think for me, that was my main quality to focus on, not again by obligation, but this is what I want. And the second quality I would say for me in moving forward has been courage. And when I went to India in '84, I was told by, our amazing daddies when they are in a kind of beautiful union with God. And I was told, "You're a very courageous soul." And I felt at that time, not at all. That's exactly what I'm not. If there's one thing I don't have, it's courage. Honestly, I felt that every time I had to do something, I would give up very easily because of, being disheartened, lacking courage. But because I was given that kind of blessing, I kept remembering it so many times. Every time there was a big problem, every time there was a difficulty, and I felt, I don't know if I can do it. This is too hard. I don't like this or whatever. Every time I got into my kind of grumpy yogi stage, I would remember that blessing. You are courageous. And I think that courage, again, brought a whole set of values that I didn't have either. Determination, discipline, motivation, fearlessness. These are all certain qualities that are really friends with courage, resilience. And without working really on those specifics, just remembering that, oh, giving me the blessing myself, I am courageous. That's the power when someone gives you a blessing. It works if you start blessing yourself with that thought again and again afterwards. And one day I remember many years ago, um, I think it was when I left Alberta, Edmonton, Calgary, and when they were saying, oh, you're leaving, and they made a whole list of things in my life saying how courageous I was for doing what I'd done. And I never thought of it as being courage. And I never thought of myself to be really courageous. But then they started to point out and say, you're really courageous. And I realized that maybe I am more than I think. And maybe that value has been, for me, the driving force to keep me moving forward. Very, very much so. And the beauty of courage is that it's not laboring, right? It's not the same. It's not courageous means you're working hard and it becomes like labor. Courage is about, for me, to have a vision of me being bigger than what I am at the moment. And I've taken that analogy many times of how the lobsters grow, right? You've heard that example, I'm sure, before, that the lobster cannot, the shell of the lobster cannot grow. So to grow, the lobster has to go outside of its shell. And at that time, it's extremely vulnerable. It's a nice little candy for the predator because no shell, so like meal is served. It's there. So the lobster has to come out of the shell and it's just flesh. It fills itself with water as much as it can. Then it becomes bigger. Then it creates another shell. And then the water is replaced by flesh gradually until it's too tight again. And it has to do it a second time, a third time. And it keeps doing that its whole life. And what kills a lobster is when it cannot do that anymore. It's too old, cannot go out, doesn't have the strength to go out anymore. And I found that for me, this is courage to move away from my limited self, my limitations, my comfort zone. That's what we say. You move away from your comfort zone. And then, yes, you make yourself bigger than normal. And you have the courage to be in a very vulnerable situation where you could be eaten easily by fear, by other people's ego, by defeat, by failure. Uh, all these can kill you spiritually. But courage allows us to see a bigger self. And thanks to the teachings in Raj Yoga, we're told every day, you're much better than you think you are. When I used to hear in the beginning, you are angels. Okay, the first few weeks I thought, oh yeah, that's great. Then my authentic self said, hello, you're not really an angel now. You have to become, right? So don't mix up the whole thing. Remove your fake wings and stop pretending you are an angel. You have to become an angel. It's not the same thing. Oh, okay. So my authentic self brought me back to reality. But I started to see, what does it mean? And in the beginning, it's just a concept. To be an angel is just a concept. And then we can hear the theory, it's one thing. But then what does it mean for me to see myself as an angel? What does it mean for me to be like an angel? It took years to figure it out. But that is part of what makes me courageous, is that I see something bigger and I have the courage to go through fire, to go through obstacles, to go through life, because I want to reach that vision. And if there isn't that vision, it's very unlikely that there will be courage. When a fireman goes into the burning house, he would only go there because he wants to save life, isn't it? And if he knows there's a baby inside the house in fire, he will have courage and he will go. Others may not go, but he will go because of his courage. But he has the vision that I'm going to save someone's life. So courage is a fascinating engine. It's a fascinating driving force. And in my case, I needed that. And that's why I was given that blessing of being courageous. And I would say the third value for me is love. Love, yes, I realized from the beginning, is probably the most powerful energy that has pushed me in the best way forward. And I mean, it's a huge topic which we can't deal in a few minutes. And there's been probably so many sessions on these different aspects of love. But love, again, is a quality or virtue, it's a power, it's a wisdom, it's a talent, it's a skill, it's everything. And for me, love comes as well with this whole bouquet of values that you don't know when you are inviting love for dinner. You don't know love is going to bring 20 friends along because love will say, I can't go for dinner alone. I have to bring my friends. Without my friends, I don't exist. Without my friends, I'm not real love. So do you know who comes along when you call love? And there are quite a few, because love has many, many friends. And the moment we really focus on love, you are calling upon all the qualities such as acceptance, kindness, tolerance, sweetness, compassion, self-love, respect. They all come along. It's quite a few, and then quite a few more, because they are inseparable. They cannot be separated from that. Love, for me, is the queen of hearts. In English, I never remember those names for the different cards. You know, there's the queen of heart, and I think there's the queen of dice or diamond. I don't know, the other one, diamond, and then there's a two other one in black, the leaf, and then this kind of pricky one. So you know the cards, right? But the queen of heart and the king of hearts, they're quite interesting characters. And in my early days in life, in the spiritual life, what I saw in Daddy Prakashmani was pure love, which I never saw before. And I love my mom, and I know my mom had so much love for us, and my grandmother, yes. But their love was always beautiful, of course, but maybe a little bit of attachment, expectations. No, we call it conditional love. And it's human love. But the love I felt from Daddy Prakashmani, which I'm sure people must have felt from Brahma Baba, the founder, is a divine love. It's a love which is, whoa, this is not of this world. It's not the same love. Their relationship with God brought such a quality in their love that this is what they could give to others, which is very different. You know, one day I was experiencing with Daddy Janki, one of our, spiritual hero in the Brahma Kumaris. And she was meeting some of us, and she would take a long time to look at us, eyes to eyes, soul to soul. And she would be holding our hands in early morning meditation. And so I was there next to her, and she's fairly extra small body, and I was kind of large body. So it's like, you feel she's so delicate, so small, and her hands are so little and pink skin like a little baby. And she was holding my hand, and she looked at us for each one got at least 2-3 minutes, which is a long time. Long, long, long. We call it drishti, long, 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 long gazing at the soul. And when she was looking at me, I felt overwhelmed with that love, feeling, my goodness. And I knew this is not joy, this is not peace, this is love. And what kind of love is that? And I felt my heart was going to explode. I wanted to kiss her, but I know we cannot do that in the big A. So I wanted to squeeze her in my arms. But I said, okay, let Eric behave yourself. Just behave. Keep holding your hand and do your thing. And when I left the room, I was entranced, and I was really kind of, how we call it? I don't know, puzzled, thinking, what was that? How did she do that? And I realized that the love I felt was not the love she has for me. If Daddy Janky looks at me and says, "Oh, Eric, I love you so much. You're such a nice boy." I mean, this is human love. And I don't think this is the way Daddy Janky was thinking. She was probably lost in her experience of love for God and love from God. And that was what she was experiencing, just so that I could taste it. So for her to be in the remembrance of God, feeling God's presence, created an energy. That's what I felt. And I thought, that kind of love, I want to taste it on my own without Daddy Janky, because I cannot come to see her every moment. So love is a huge, huge field of, exploration. It took me 30 years to figure out, what does it mean really to have love for the self? I had so much resistance in the capacity to love the self. I used to be so hard, so harsh on myself. It took a long, long, long time to love the self. And even up to recently, I realized that I have love for most people, of course, but some people, sometimes it's a little less. And I realized I could be still a little bit critical. And that kind of shocked me to think, oh, I'm still critical. So I decided 2026, cross my finger, I'm never going to say anything bad about anyone, you know? And I even thought that the best fashion we should start in 2026 is to talk about people in their back. That's a good sanskar. It's called gossiping. So you talk about people in their back, but the new trend, you talk nicely about them. And it's called divine gossiping. So what you do is that you praise people all the time. And if somebody says, "Oh, I met this one, he's like this," and you say, "Yeah, but I think he also is like that." And you share one good experience that you had with someone, or one virtue that you saw in them. I think we should start that new fashion to always, always talk nicely about people in their back. And of course, when you meet them, it's easier to say it out loud as well. But all this is connected to love. Love is a powerful energy that could destroy the self or make the self bloom in the most beautiful way. Love can destroy the self because love could be contaminated with very toxic elements. And if you're madly in love with someone and it becomes possessive, a dependent love, an addictive love, you are about to suffer a great deal at some point. And love, when it's toxic, can produce what we call a broken heart. There's nothing worse than someone saying, "My heart has been broken." Can you imagine? In a medical way, you die. If your heart is that broken, you potentially can die. And so, but at the same time, for me, I feel that love has been this silent energy that has been growing, 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 being refined. And today, I can't move forward without love, because so many things in life is against love. The hatred, the wars, the destruction of everything, the denial of basic human values all around in the world. And I worked in the media for many years. There's not much love in the news, right? There's not much love on the screen. They scream more than than they are seeing. The screens are filled with screams. Doesn't translate well, right? But the horror of the world tends to change your love into a dry. I always say the heart becomes like a dry a raisin. You know, dry raisin, grape when it becomes dry, and when it's dry, it's like a rock. There's nothing. Grape is much nicer. It's juicy. So the heart can become very dry, and that will make people stop for everything. So authenticity, courage, and love for me will be a perfect blend. And I really invite you all to think, what would be your three qualities? What are the qualities that throughout your life have made you move forwards? And maybe the best way to move forward is to just invest in these three qualities, not to worry about the other ones. They all come along. And we can't work on 100, thing at the same time. If you cook something, make one dish, it's easy, or maybe three or four, but try that, and that would be a good meal. So I would say if everyone can think of three arts or three qualities, three virtues or powers that have been there in their spiritual journey or their inner journey, spiritual or not, maybe our best way to move forward constantly and in a straight line and in a fast lane so we can reach our destination in time, I would suggest we need to just focus on those three qualities that will be different for everyone and have the faith that if I can really connect with those three qualities, they are the ones that will define me in my perfect, in my accomplished, or in my complete form. I only need those three qualities. And those three qualities, I believe, will sustain everything else. In a big bouquet, you always have two or three like astonishing flowers that stand out, and the other flowers are just making the bouquet as well. So this will be my proposal for the art of constantly moving forward. Identify three of those forces and then put energy into these three and trust them. They will make you reach your destination faster than we can think of. Would that be a convenient deal for the Manoj?
Absolutely. I mean, it's wonderful. As we said, I would say ACL, authenticity, courage, and love, as you rightly mentioned.
Mm.
So, fantastic, Brother Eric, for this. And as you were speaking about these three qualities, I was just thinking there were a few questions. I'll take it in a while. But I felt, what are the roadblocks in our journey which prevent us from moving forward? So I was thinking about a few, like it is. Doing mistakes and carrying on the consciousness of being guilty all the time in our consciousness, uh, criticizing and complaining about life, which doesn't help us to move forward, and even a pull of the sanskars, the old sanskars. You mentioned the beautiful word in Hindi we call sanskars. So the pull of our old sanskars, which keep us stuck onto that, because there's a question in the chat box which is similar to that, that in moments we know that the intellect knows what is right, but the heart feels stuck. So in such times, how do we apply the spiritual power or the supreme power to move ahead, particularly when we have so many blocks, guilt conscious, mistakes, criticism? So how do we go deal with these roadblocks towards moving
Well,
forward?
yeah, the roadblocks, of course, there are so many and so diverse. But again, I would suggest, or I would believe that it is very personal. Some people don't have any issue with guilt. Other people have a huge issue with guilt. So the guilt is not the problem, is what causes the guilt, which will be really the fundamental issue. And I think everyone, again, because it's a very, very personal I think we're all unique. You know, they say in Canada we have a lot of snow, right? There's a lot of snow every year. And I read one day from scientific proof, apparently, that two snowflakes cannot be the same. And I thought, how could it be that there are trillions and trillions of snowflakes every day here in Montreal? And not two can be the same because the way a snowflake is configured in a microscopic level, it's an infinite way of being composed. And even when they look at the different snowflakes, they have a difference, each of them. So every human soul, I think, is so unique. And the how to say it's like a treasure hunt to find this missing piece of the puzzle. That missing piece will be a different one for each one. So I would say for myself that the main obstacles in my journey have been the opposite of authenticity, courage, and love. Because that's the nerve of my DNA. So whenever there was a lack of love, that's what stopped me. Feeling not being loved, not loving myself was the biggest roadblock. If I don't love myself, I don't care about myself properly. It means I don't respect myself. I don't value myself. For me, lack of love in its many ways, which means the consequence on all the other qualities connected to it, has been responsible for my deeper weakness, lack of courage or lack of authenticity. So each one can easily identify. We say if you have a quality that is your specialty, you will make it, to its extreme. But you can also go to the other extreme of the opposite. Someone who will be very, very courageous. His, how to call it, Achilles heel, this weak point of someone who is very, very courageous is exactly that capacity to lose courage. That will be his most vulnerable spot. And so, yes, there are many, many obstacles, many blockages, but the qualities of the soul, they all come. If we were to really, my personal belief is that all the qualities of the soul reside in one quality, which is self-esteem. And self-esteem is connected to purity, the pure vision of who I am really, who is my true self. And what we're struggling with is with the fact that we don't see ourselves in our true form. We see Eric, the body, the age, the nationality. This is an illusion. Or then we see our role and how great we are and how skilled we are at work. It's an illusion. But when I was told in the early days, you are an angel, 40 years later, I was thinking recently, let me try to be an angel of love for 3 weeks. And for 3 weeks, I only tried to practice how do I relate to this concept? I'm an angel of love. It's beautiful. If you tried it for 3 weeks, images will come to you. New reading material will come to you. People will say things, oh yeah, I was thinking about it. If I think strongly about something, I change everything. They say in Indian mythology, when you move a finger, you're moving a star because everything is connected. So the moment I say I'm an angel of love, it brings in my life so many things. And I was very inspired with this notion. If I'm thinking I'm an angel of love, how am I going to speak with other people? If I'm watching the news and I'm seeing what I'm seeing today in Iran, in Ukraine, in the States, our neighbors here, if I don't put my glasses of angel of love, I'm going to be destroyed. This is going to enter into me and it's going to destroy my courage, my love, and my authenticity. So self-esteem becomes, I think, the best, how to call it, antibiotic maybe for all the other disease. is the antivirus, everything you want, but self-love, which comes also with self-esteem, is a powerful ingredient to destroy all the obstacles.
Right. And I think this answers the question which someone was asking, that how to find our own qualities. So it is through self-esteem, and also that the Supreme Being sees us in our original purest form. And that's what we should also try to look at it from his perspective, that what we are. So I think that should answer the person's question. So with this, time is really moving fast. And thank you so much for your bright insights about authenticity, that way you mentioned about, we have covered it in our talks before, various colors and shades of love and also courage. So with this, I would like to invite now to Sister Claudia, over to you for proposing the vote of thanks. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric, bye, to be talking to us and giving all this knowledge about how to move forward and then see our qualities. So we really have to go deep inside ourselves and then use that time to see our own qualities. Maybe sometimes we don't see, the other one sees, but we do not see ourselves like that. And then use that our like our driving force to make those qualities more really personal in our life. So it was very nice to hear from you, and especially also about the love part. Like be detached, like you said, be detached from, do not expect the other one love you back. Just give love for the sake of giving, and that's it. And enjoying giving. That's the thing. Enjoying to give love. Thank you very much for being with us today. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. And yes, it's so short. I felt it was like 2 minutes. So when they say when you're in good company, you don't see time passing. So I was in extremely good company. So thanks all of you. And for those who are going to be going into special silence also for today and tomorrow, since we are in a beautiful time of silence with the 18th of January, then all good wishes to everyone for finding those three qualities clearly and bet on them for 2026 and give them full power. And we'll all be not even moving forward, we'll be flying forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you, both of you. And before we move on to the closing meditation, I would like to make a few announcements as always. And in the meantime, Brother Nikhil, if you can just help us to take the photograph as a memory, which many people want to do. So if you all can just, all of you will take yourself in the gallery mode and open your cameras so that Brother Nikhil can click a photograph.
And keep smiling, right? Okay.
Yes. So on this auspicious day of 17th January, which also is the prelude to the day of tomorrow, day of remembrance, and the day of power. Right. So let me just done. Okay, thanks. So I'll just quickly move on to the announcements. All of you are very well aware that have joined with us as always, that following the talk, we then move on to the inner reflections on the same as the part B of the episode. Again, it will be Sister Judy Johnson, who's the director of Brahma Kumari, 4th of January, same time. And we will be posting the flyers as well soon on our websites and the WhatsApp group. And after that, the next part C would be the same art. We do the workshop whereby whatever Brother Eric has said, we revise, and also what inner reflections Sister Judy will be covering, we'll be revising that. And you all will have ample of time for interactive discussions. So that session goes on for 1 hour, 15 minutes. And we close that with the silence retreat. We'll show that later. And this is our elegant calendar of the January month, which I must say indeed is a very powerful month of remembrance, trying to make our form more and more subtle and becoming more and more complete and perfect, similar to the divine being. So I'll stop sharing the screen and we'll request Brother Eric now to take us into the silence and the meditative mode with either commentary or drishti, whatever, brother. Over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very beautiful that after thinking about the qualities of the self, we want to experience those qualities So, in a very natural way, I think of myself as a soul, a beautiful sparkle of life. How this beautiful shining light is combined with the body, like two very good old friends. The soul shines, the body moves. It's like a dance. And through my physical body, I want to express the beauty of the soul. So I imagine my eyes to be magic projectors of light, that when I see others, they can feel the love of the soul, an eternal love, a natural love. And seeing myself as a soul and seeing everyone right now as a soul, I can feel the quality of love to be beyond human love. It is a spiritual love. It's a divine love. It's a love that goes beyond time, beyond space. If I see someone as my spiritual brother or spiritual sister, the quality of love is so beautiful, so authentic, so real. So as I prepare myself to move forward in my life, I keep in mind this beautiful dance of the soul and the body. And I, the soul, will keep trying to express the beauty of the self in many ways through my physical body, in action, in words, and just in the pure energy of the self visible on my face. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much once again, Brother Eric, for this amazing experience and your insights. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Om
Thank you.
Shanti. Warm hug to everyone.
Thank you.
Keep well. See you in the light.